Welcome everybody to That's Good Stuff, our show where we take deep dives into pop culture's newest releases, and nothing newer this week than Star Wars Ahsoka. I guess it's just called Ahsoka, but it's part of Star Wars. You guys know that. And it released on Disney Plus, the Dave Filoni led show. We are going to hear about it, but when we last left Star Wars, we weren't in too great a shape because we were going through Mandalorian season 3. And
Michael had to see those popsicles.
Gosh.
So Star Wars has been limping along. We've had Mandalorian 3, we've had Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, the disaster that was Obi-Wan.
So disappointing. I love Obi-Wan, and it finally got something, and it was terrible.
So,
Indeed.
Does Ahsoka change the trend? We will see. I will get these guys' opinions, but first, let's go over the episodes. Ahsoka episode 1 is called Master and Apprentice, and it starts with the classic Star Wars crawl, and it gives us the evil galactic empire has fallen, and a new republic has risen to take its place. However, sinister agents are already at work to undermine the fragile peace. A plot is underway to find the lost Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn and bring him out of exile. Once presumed dead, rumors are spreading of Thrawn's return, which would galvanize the Imperial remnants and start another war. Former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano captured one of Thrawn's allies and learned of a secret map which is vital to the enemy's plan. Ahsoka now searches for the map as her prisoner, Morgan Elsbeth, is transported to the New Republic for trial.
Yes. Firstly, not the classic Star Wars thing. One, it's red. Two, why does it just go straight up? It doesn't go in the distance.
There's no tilt.
I was like, this is the lazy Star Wars intro. I was sad about that. I was like,
it's lazy.
I was
like, trying something new.
I was like, am I watching a copyrighted version or something?
Have you ever seen how they did those original crawls? They had like these big glass.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they probably didn't want to do that much work. They're like,
they just ask AI to do it. It'll do it for them.
Can you tilt this a little?
Just make it red and make it go in the distance.
The AI's like, I have no idea how to do this close up.
You guys did something unspeakable back then.
What are you guys talking? All right, so this episode begins, and we're at a New Republic capital ship. It's flying. It's taking their prisoner, and then they're like, "Hey, we got someone calming in. It's a Jedi signal," which is weird because the Jedi have been gone for I don't know how many years, but it's been a while. So they're like, "Okay, let them on board." The captain's like, "This smells so fishy, but let's let them on board." So when the classic Imperial shuttle lands, and we get these guys looking very much
black hoods. Like, who's like, that's a Jedi?
Well, to be fair, all of these guys look like they're out of Star Trek, not Star Wars. So I don't think they really understand what's going on. It's like they're all actual, like,
makes sense.
The whole layout looks like a Star Trek like command area and everything. And then they were a little confused. They'd never seen it.
It's called a bridge.
A bridge. There
you
go.
Philistine.
Abridged. But
so the captain's like. The captain's like, "You're no Jedi," and he's like, "Yep, I'm no Jedi." They start killing everyone.
It's like, ding, ding, ding. You're right.
Played by Ray Stevens, so he looks pretty awesome.
R.I.P. Man, I love that. That guy was a great actor.
He looks pretty awesome in this. I want to see more. So he goes and rescues the prisoner, which happens to be. Witch of Dothamir. I think she's like the last one they say, which is hard to believe. So I don't know how
they always say that, like, we're the last of the Dothamir sisters. And it's like, you out of like 50.
I kind of hate that tribe, but all right.
I kind of like them.
You do?
Yeah, it's just like another evil, like,
look at them go practice their
witchcraft. Look at them cute, so cute.
Sacrifice.
They do ride Rancors, which is kind of cool.
So does Boba Fett in that series.
True. What was I going to say? Oh, apparently this lady that they rescued was in Mandalorian season 2. I don't remember her at all.
Interesting.
Season 2? She what now?
She was in Mandalorian season
Come
2.
again?
She did what now?
Say that to my face.
Dude, what episode?
I don't know.
Joseph, you're supposed to have the answers. You're the host, damn it.
Thomas.
That episode with the prisoners, remember that one? I'm thinking she was on that one.
The one with Bill Burr?
Yeah. Remember they're just like breaking people out of a prison for a New Republic prison for some reason?
Yeah, I don't remember a Witch of Dathomir. I remember a lot of bounty hunters.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Nothing in the computer banks, as the Star Trek people would say.
Ray
Michael.
Stevens
On their command area. Sorry.
Ray Stevens rescues Princess Leia, and they're off.
Aren't you a little short to? I don't know.
To be a witch. And then we get Ahsoka. She's here, and she's at this weird temple, doing like Indiana Jones stuff, moving little. She's actually playing Legends of the Hidden Temple. Remember that one where you had to like align the film?
I was gonna say, here's a 10-minute scene of the Lucas Towers from like Old Republic.
That'd be funny. And then
she's just doing the orb thing from Fallen Order. So
yeah, she gets the orb. It's a star map.
Starforge.
And then we get some HK droids show up. They
Looking
look
all
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah, it looked
dude,
pretty cool.
I love like capes on like robots.
Yeah.
It's just
Dude,
cool.
It looks
just
like
so cool.
Samurai Jack would fight those guys.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Capes on robots are cool, so better make more of that.
They don't need them, but they want them. That's why it's cool.
No one needs
Good
them.
stuff approved.
Hey, no, people need capes. All right, they need cloaks to shield them from things.
So she fights these guys off pretty easily, and then she calls it a ride. But before then, the head droid's like, self-destruct now.
He's like, have you ever seen Predator?
And then she jumps on the ship, and I don't know how much ordnance these guys were packing, but it was a lot because they decimate this town.
It's like a dirty bomb right there. It's like, dang.
So Ahsoka's like, hey, Tenant Droid. And he's like, hey, how's it going? I got the ball, and that's good. I don't know how to read the ball, though. So she flies. Where are we? She goes and visits her old friend, Hera. What's her last name? Syndulla, I think.
Syndulla.
Yeah, General Syndulla. And it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
I know. I was like, who is this for like 10 minutes?
So they have a chat, and they're like, how are we going to put this ball? And then she's like, you know who can help. And Ahsoka's like, I don't really care. So she's like, yeah, I'll go, even though she doesn't want to go. And then we get Clancy Brown. He's here. And he's talking to his citizens. He's governor, I think. Yeah.
So quick, what do you call it? Factoid. Clancy Brown's playing his character from the Rebels show that he voiced. So I thought it was kind of cool to see that.
He's some kind of governor, I think.
He was like the former governor, and then he was the rebellion, and then he's now the governor again, I think.
He's got a green sash. That's all you need to know.
It's true. And a cape.
They're having a ceremony for the rebels. The only trouble is there's no freaking rebels there. They couldn't even pull the purple guy out of retirement or something. I don't know. But they're really waiting for Sabine. I guess she's a commander.
Wasn't Steve Bloom's character in Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we see him.
Oh, do we?
We saw him like in the Mandalorian. We didn't see him in this one yet.
No, we didn't see him in this one. We saw him on the Mandalorian. He was at the Republic bar.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabine doesn't want to do a ceremony, so she packs on jumps on her speeder bike, and she takes off on the least busiest highway of all time.
That's the thing, though. That Lothan highway just never has anybody on it ever.
It's not a real highway. It's fake.
Also, why do hovercrafts need roads? Like it bugged. It did not bug me until I saw this live action. I'm like, wait, hold on a second.
So you don't have dust flying around everywhere. It
doesn't matter. It still.
People would be like, going.
And we get we get our first taste of E-wings in in live action. So those were pretty cool. E-wings go way back to the expanded universe. So those were really cool. I like seeing that. They tell her to stop. It's like that Kirk scene in the new Star Trek. Pull over.
The Beastie Boys start playing.
Yeah, they play chicken. And she wins. Because apparently E-wings have a giant clearance from their landing pads or something like that. You could just slide right below them. And then she heads off to her comm tower home, where that cat thing from Rebels is. She's taking care of it. She gives it some lovings. And then she remembers things. Then we have a meeting of the villains. The witch and Ray Stevenson and his apprentice are there. And
Michael's love of his life over there.
I messaged the guys as I was watching it today. I was like, no one told me there's going to be a hot Sith in this. You're not.
Michael, most of the Sith are hot. That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
They're pretty hot sometimes.
They talk about something. They talk about something I don't even remember, and he's like, "Yeah, we." How do they talk? I don't even remember what they talk about.
I think they talk about Thrawn, right? Except
that's
what Ahsoka's going after.
Oh, okay,
and why they want it or why she wants it.
Doesn't he? I don't remember. Okay, I'll just take your guys' words. Then we go back to Ahsoka. She arrives at the city. And she lands, and Sabine's there, and she's like, I don't want to look at her. And she's like, fine, don't look at me or whatever. And Clancy Brown's like, listen to her. And then he leaves. and she's like, I know where Ezra is. And she's like, ooh. And so they go back to the ship.
Go back to the ship. They discuss the hollow thing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I need to talk to the droid real quick because they're getting.
The droid made some recordings of the lightsabers so he can identify them.
But before this, she's like, "Oh, can I take this home? I can read better at home." And she's like, "No, it needs to stay on the ship." Did this frustrate anyone to no end? Like
that she left or what?
No, that she's like, "I want to take this home." And she just leaves it with her to go talk to the droid.
Oh, yeah. She's like a dumb.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Everyone, you can't tell me no one saw that coming. Even the Force was probably like, no, don't.
Even the droid is like, hey, Paul.
I feel like anyone in the entire city would say, hey, that girl, she's a brat. Don't leave her with your stuff. She's a brat. They all know it. It's obvious.
She's like, I have this tasty chocolate that I'm going to leave on the table. Don't leave with it. And she left with it. So
we're not talking about you, Joseph.
The droid's like, I've seen this lightsaber before. I know whose it is. And so they identify him. And then we get like this very Darth Maul scene where some hover droids are talking to the Sith apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And she's at her ship. And they do that droid speak, and she's okay, and that's about it.
She just says it like that. Oh,
somehow everyone's fluent in droid speak in Star Wars,
in the universe. Yeah. So Sabine goes back home. She tells the cat to get off the table, and then she turns on the map because she's all you have to do is this really, and that turns on the map.
Just the foundation, tap, twist, and flip.
And it shows her something, and she's like, "That's real cool."
Neat.
She leaves to go talk to Ahsoka, but the HK droids are there, and they're like, "We're gonna get you."
Meat bag.
Yeah, and one grabs her, so she got to fight these guys.
Can they fill those HKs with that amount of explosives every time? Because why wouldn't you?
because it's expensive.
Because they always lose.
One loses, one takes off with the map, and then she calls for help, but then she runs down, and the Sith lady's there, and they have a fight.
And Michael's like, ooh.
And the Sith lady wins and stabs Sabine right in the side of the tummy.
And Qui-Gon's like, okay, cool. She's going to die and meet me. Wait, why is she still alive?
We'll talk about that.
Is this like the Harry Potter version of Star Wars? Like the only one to ever survive a lightsaber?
No.
Dang. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
No, they survive all the time. That's what people have been having.
Not if they get stabbed in the gut. They're always dead.
Yes, they're stabbed in the gut. That's the point.
That's an easy back to fix. Just throw her some back.
And it makes sense. You're cauterizing the wound immediately. You don't bleed out.
We gotta talk about
die. They all
yes,
die.
we know. That's why people have had having problems with Qui-Gon's death for years. They're
so
get back on the internet, Michael.
This episode has made a lot of people mad because of this end scene. Because you have Darth Maul survive being cut in half. And then in Obi-Wan, multiple people get stabbed in the stomach and they somehow survive. So people are kind of angry that poor Qui-Gon does not get
because he lost the will to live. It's not a matter of getting stabbed.
Have you seen those Charlie, the guy that does the AI face over his impressions of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? I'll send it to you. Anyway, he does a whole series about Qui-Gon reacting to Star Wars. And he's like, oh, this is where they die. Wait, why aren't they dead? What's going on?
Qui-Gon took a bigger bite than he could chew, taking on Anakin as an apprentice. He's like, oh crap, I can't deal with this. So he took the stabbing and he's like, I can't live, Obi-Wan.
We'll get you to the back to take. No. It's too much.
It's too far gone.
Your little rat tails disgusted me for far too long.
All right, so that ends episode 1. What did you guys think? What was your first impressions of this episode?
First impressions?
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Go Thomas.
The first 5 minutes of this oh, okay. The first 5 minutes of this episode were pretty cool. I love it's weird how to say it, the character design of the Sith, but you know what I mean? Just their style.
I like their dope as heck. Is what
they look awesome. I love Ray Stevenson's lightsaber style. It's so broadsword type stuff. It looks like the stuff from Jedi Survivor, the long sword. I mean, they're intimidating as all get out. You actually use the Force how you're supposed to use it.
The villains look cooler than the good guys on this.
They do. They look so cool.
Because you got Ray Stevenson, you got his apprentice, then you got this guy in a mask.
The Inquisitor?
Yeah.
The guy with the Inquisitor saber, which is, I'm curious to see who that is, because
lots of theories on that.
It's Qui-Gon.
So Qui-Gon.
There you go.
Can we dump on those sabers again? Because they're so dumb. I hate those.
The round hilted.
Which one?
Yeah,
the Inquisitor sabers? Yeah. Yeah, those are not the best designed ones, especially if they fly.
When we get for the 10th time in Star Wars cinematic history, the second lightsaber coming out, as though we're oh, it's
oh no,
two, one guy, what?
Okay, this is for episode 2 though, so keep it.
Yeah, sorry, that's Thomas' fault. He brought it up.
After that, it's a little slow. I'm liking I like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I think she's good. The thing is, she didn't do anything in this first episode. It was almost like Star Wars, and Ahsoka's kind of there for most of this episode. It was a lot of other people, not Ahsoka. And so when she is Ahsoka, I do like her. I think she is a good choice of the character. She's a good actress. And she honestly kind of sounds like Ahsoka, but she just didn't do a lot in this episode. So I was a little frustrated that we got this amazing, awesome 5 minutes, and then we kind of just came screeching to a halt for some reason.
And circle on the ground and fell through like Like
that was
Underworld.
dull. I didn't like that. Because
Like-
she's
like
done that
Kate-
before in Clone Wars. So I'm like, oh, but this is your signature move. Your go-to move is cut holes.
It's like Mortal Kombat, man. She has to down back square or something. I don't know.
Everyone has their special move
Yeah.
that they.
She's just copying Kate Beckinsale in Underworld. All right, that's all she's doing.
Aren't we all?
Swords. I don't remember that movie.
No, it was guns.
It's
but
guns.
Yeah,
It's stupider because
it was pretty stupid. It's like you would waste more bullets. Just
she would have to reload like twice.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I do have some stuff to say about the end parts, but I do want to see what Michael and Jared and you guys think. So,
Okay, go ahead, Jared.
The first part was really cool when it was just Ahsoka on that planet, like looking for artifacts and stuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then like the beginning with the two Sith, and they're like, "You're not Jedi." That was pretty fun. But I can't tell you how frustrated I was when she was like, "I need to take this home. No, don't take that home," and she took it anyway. I was like, "Please don't do this. You're just wasting our time. No one wants you to do this. Just stop." And it really bugged me. But I did like seeing their lightsaber battle, and then she got stabbed. That was pretty cool.
Pretty cool style too.
Yeah.
Because she kept like throwing her cape over her and stuff like that.
Mm.
That's pretty cool.
And like Thomas was saying, I like Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and I love Ahsoka's two white lightsabers. Those are cool.
Yeah, those are cool.
But yeah,
her double lightsaber looks awesome.
The beginning started off awesome with like the red text scroll. Unlike Michael, I thought it was nice and cool.
You just needed to go back. It wasn't.
Just get that tilt.
That's all.
He was
happy.
tilt, man.
I was
Gotta
happy
tilt.
with the aesthetic and how it was. It just needed to tilt.
Just needed to tilt. That's it.
But yeah, the HKs are always cool to see. But yeah, it started off really strong. It's just at that end, it got a little, like Thomas said, a little slow.
Yeah, I agree. Michael, I take it you never saw Rebels.
No, I've never seen Rebels.
So how lost were you during this episode?
I mean, I feel like the crawl got it enough, and then I was like, okay, they're going for a map. They're looking for a Thrawn man, which everyone loves and thinks is cool. And
He's so cool.
There you go. See,
he's amazing.
I'm caught up.
He is okay.
And he was cool in the books. I don't know him from Rebels. I don't know how they portrayed him.
He's almost as cool as the books. Not as cool though. Not as cool.
Okay, so we go to episode.
I don't know if you're talking about the episode,
oh.
Joseph.
Oh, did you have more?
I had one more thing. So when Sabine like is about to like fight the Sith apprentice or the apprentice, I don't even know if we're Sith yet.
Apprentice.
Apprentice.
Apprentices.
So she like looks at her stuff, right? And her Mandalorian armor's there. And she takes the lightsaber. She takes Ezra's lightsaber. I'm just like, why? Take your armor. Like in the show, she can clearly best like Jedi with like her Mandalorian stuff because the Mandalorian stuff is meant to be anti-Jedi, and she's not force sensitive. Like,
did she have time to put it on? Wasn't it kind of a?
Yeah, she kind of just grabbed it and ran.
It's 2 gauntlets and a helmet. Like that's all she needed. Like, I'm sorry, but if we're going off of that logic, like,
no, she probably wasn't. She probably wasn't expecting a lightsaber battle.
Wait,
you
pause.
always
I gotta
expect
put
a
my
lightsaber
stuff on.
battle.
I gotta put my gear on real fast. Then we can fight. Just give it 2
it is the
seconds.
Star Wars universe. You always expect a lightsaber battle, sir. But I don't know. And she's not force sensitive, so I'm kind of curious why that's a thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get to that more in the second one too. Okay, Michael. Sorry.
No, you're good. But no, you guys have kind of danced around it. But this whole show is just cut down the middle. Like, there's really good things. There's really, really stupid things.
Yeah.
Like, the 2 villains, awesome. The 3rd villain, super cheesy and lame. I feel like I'm watching a CW show with this freaking witch lady. Oh my god, I can't stand it.
There's
what about
4 villains.
What about the 4th villain?
We don't know that one yet. He did a little fight,
okay.
but that's episode 2 anyway. Good guys. Got Ahsoka is really cool. The girl Sabino, I keep calling her Sabino because I used to work with Sabinos. That's all I kept thinking. Sabino, who loves Ezra Miller, is all I got now.
Yes.
Never actually happened in the show. They didn't get together.
Dang.
That was
Wanted to.
Don't
that
really
was a
care
big
'cause
thing.
Her character
He wanted
sucks
to.
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Like-
introduction is so, like you said, that Star Trek Guardians of the Galaxy, like, oh, look at this. Like, if you want to do that, open the show like that. Like, don't give us that opening to the character after all this cool stuff. Like, make that the opening show. I don't care. The costume designs, like we talked about how cool the villains are. And then you get to the city, and even the people who the villains went, like the Star Trek people in the beginning, the costume design is bad. Like, it looks cheap, and it looks like they did nothing to try and make it have wear or anything or look real. It just looks like they threw cloth over people. I'm like, this looks really, really bad.
Super
Now
bright.
that you bring that up, I think that's like the biggest flaw of most of the Disney Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
is that nothing looks lived in. If you go back to the
Yeah.
old stuff, everything looks like it has wear and tear, and someone's been wearing this for like 10 years.
Like all
Like-
the Mandalorians except for Din or
Right.
Yeah, they're all
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Even like the new aliens that they introduced, they all look
True.
like super like
Mhm.
cheesy. and
they're
clean.
too either shiny or bright or it just nothing looks lived in. Everything looks like it came off the rack, and like even like Lucas's stuff, like the CGI nightmares that the prequels are, it still looks lived in. Like Coruscant looked lived in,
Yeah.
but
But
this
like,
is like
go back to the cantina scene from the New Hope, and all those
Yeah.
Oh my
aliens
God.
look like
Right,
That's-
freaking-
garbage.
that's like straight out of a western. Yeah, like,
yeah.
you could feel the dirt, but that's a really good complaint though. But I think that's a Disney thing. Like
Yeah.
nothing looks lived in.
But it's like they just focus on things. Like they focus on Ahsoka, they focus on the villains. In Mando, they focus on Din Djarin. Like he looks so good. Everyone else looks cheesy and cheap. Like spread the love a little bit. Spread the love.
Well, I think that's the thing about the Sith, like costumes. They look worn. They look like they have been fighting for like 5, 6, 10 years.
They're more detailed. They have a little more like character. To
Yeah,
them, rather
like
than
wear
just,
and
"Here's
tear,
the
yeah."
gray with a green sash. Like I said, with poor what's his face.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, but I will say I was very delighted to hear David Tennant's voice out of the pilot droid with the with the jowls. I was like, is that David Tennant? And I'm so happy to hear that. So his character's really cool, and I like the second episode spoilers, the talk he gives to the terrible main character of that other girl. But it's just like he seems a cool character. But then like you guys said also, but last thing I'll say is the episode itself. Two things actually. One, yes, it could have been cut in half. Like this episode was way too long. They drug on with so much, and then they do this thing like they are so pointed. It's the same with Mando that I can't stand. Is they get so pointed. Like you talk about the this kind of leaks in the second one with the armor. Like when she's laying out the armor, it's like we focus on the scene for 10 freaking minutes, and then she picks up the helmet and looks at it. It's like that's all you needed. You needed her to pick up the helmet, move on, and she's in suit in that little like thing. And so in the first one, there's so much. I'm like, why are we still focusing on the scene? It's taking forever. And then the second thing is, whoever edits this doesn't understand like the flow of conversation. Like it feels like this is all shot with one camera. And so like they're taking their dialogue scene and then they're moving everything and then they're taking rather than two cameras shot at the same time. Cause like the conversations feel so bizarre and they hold on so long after and so long before, like you can tell they're like, hey, do this and feel this afterward and look down. It's like the main girl's sitting on one of the beds and she says something. She's like, right. But like before it's like this whole right. And then she looks down. And then it finally cuts, and then the next person says something. They do it the whole time. I was like, speed up, actually have a conversation. Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah.
I think so. This was Dave Filoni's. I think this is his first live action.
I think he directed some of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, I've seen
Did
his
he?
name in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know he wrote a lot of the Mando stuff, but
I think he did a few episodes.
okay, because like I could see where translating from animated to live action would have some difficulty, but
Yeah, for me, this episode is got Dave Filoni all over it. If you've seen Clone Wars and if you've seen Rebels, it feels very much like his stuff where he doesn't. His dialogue feels very like computers are talking to each other.
Mhm.
It doesn't sound like people are talking to each other. And he does do kind of the slow thing where they kind of just like focus on scenery or stuff like that.
I will say his stuff gets better once he has a a show flushed out, because like the first season of Clone Wars, the movie was terrible.
Yeah.
The first season was terrible. Most of the first half of the Rebels first season was terrible. But once he like kind of gets into a groove and starts writing for these characters, it's a lot better.
Yeah. Like the last season of Clone Wars is like great. I love that.
Amazing.
But it still has that feeling. He doesn't, his stuff doesn't have energy for some reason, is the only way I can put it. It lacks energy. But so that's my opinion of the first episode.
Did Jared have something?
Yeah, Jared.
One last thing about this episode. Is there like a weird sexual tension amongst the three?
100%.
It's like they want to make out every scene.
All three of the main three chicks, they're just like every time. Like when she first sees Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's just
yes. Sorry, you guys cut out. I thought you guys were talking about the three villains. I was just I did not get any of that.
The three main characters.
Okay.
Ahsoka and her just want to go at it, dude.
Absolutely. They were eyeing each other up like candy, man.
Yeah, when they first introduce each other.
It was like palpable.
All right. Episode 2, Toil and Trouble. We start out in the hospital.
Is that really the name of the episode?
Yes.
I didn't catch that.
Sabine is in the hospital for her gut wound. So this is
for her upset tummy.
Get some Pepto.
So I know it's taken a lot of flack for the stabbing, but at least they got her to a hospital. And you would think the New Republic has pretty good hospitals. And she doesn't. She doesn't get up right away. She's still in the hospital for a while. So they're in the hospital, and she's kind of sad because she lost the map. And Ahsoka's all, "Did you at least see where the map was heading to?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "Dang it. What about, did you record it?" "No, they destroyed it at my place." And she's just like, "Dang it." So she's not happy, and she leaves.
I would be happy, by the way, if all of the dialogue was replaced with Joseph.
Dang it.
Just like, dang it.
Hera is way too nice to Sabine. She's like, "You did a good job. You did something." It's like, no,
you screwed up.
We get this very useless scene of the bad guys, and he's got the ball, and he puts the ball in the stand, and that's the whole scene. It's like, okay. Didn't need that scene.
Gotta run that pad, or gotta pad that runtime. I tried to reverse that. Sorry.
Ahsoka goes back to Sabine's house. For some reason, a droid stayed there. I guess he found it comfy or something, so he was going to live there. She cuts off his head with a little help from the cat thing, and takes the head back to the hospital. Sabine is good with machines and droids and stuff like that.
What, she Donatello?
Yes. So she dissects this head and she uploads some memory from it. Right before David Tennant's like freaking out. He's like, "You gotta turn this thing off, man.
It's gonna blow up."
So he unplugs it, but
I will say that droid is like right pretty much most of the time for this show. Like whatever he says, it's like, "No, I don't want to do it." It turns out like, yeah, that's what you needed to do.
So they find out that the droid was made in Corellia, or is from Corellia or something. I don't know. Meanwhile, the villains are reading the map. They get the ball. The witch does her thing. She's like, "This is our galaxy, and this map points to another galaxy. What could it be? We'll have to find out." Lots of theories on that one. So they're like, "We got to go there, but we need to complete this thing that we're building." And Ray Stevens is like, "Yeah, let's do that." So he says his apprentice, and like, go help him. And then we go back to Sabine. Oh, this is the one Michael was talking about. Sabine and Tenet Droid have a heart-to-heart. She's like, "She doesn't want me," and he's like, "Yeah, she does."
Stop crying, you baby.
And then we go to Corellia, Han Solo's birthplace. And we see they're famous for their shipyards. So we see shipyards, and we meet this bald guy, and he's like, everything's classified. And they're like, why? And he's like, I don't know. Everything's classified. And then this 3PO droid comes and like, hey, I saw a droid that's suspicious. Looked like an HK droid. And the guy's like, why didn't you tell me that? And he's like, I didn't have like clearance to tell you to give you a report or something like that. And then so they're kind of talking to this guy, and he's being very shady. They're like, one of them was like, is that a hyperdrive out there? That thing's gigantic. And Hera's like, we don't have anything that big that will fit that hyperdrive. He's like, let me just check my records and stuff. And then the droid says, hey, I saw that droid. He's taking off now in that ship. Go look right there. It's taking off right in front of us. One of the guys working there's like, long live the Empire. And he dies or something. They tackle him or something.
Like there's like 3 of them that do that though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is there?
One gets shot, one gets like
stabbed.
I did like the little detail where Ahsoka, she like got the one guy, blocked someone else, and like forced up the person's gun over there. Then Mary Elizabeth Winstead shoots her. I like that little combat.
So Ahsoka's like, Ahsoka's like, go get the ship. And she's like, all right. And then she like jumps out the window. Yeah. And she flies out the window. She's running after the hyperdrive, but then the bad guy, a new bad guy, stops her. This is the Inquisitor looking dude. And Michael and Jared's favorite lightsaber pops up. They have a fight. He's a good match for Ahsoka. She doesn't cream him. But it's time to go. His watch tells him it's time. So he chucks his helicopter lightsaber at her and runs. And it comes back, and it's cool because she like dodges it.
That was pretty cool.
If she knew it was happening, she could have just like caught it or something, Don't let him have it. He left it there. I will say she chases after more things than I've ever seen anyone in the 2 episodes of the first 2 episodes of a show.
Is it weird that I like how Rosario Dawson runs? Like she runs very
weird.
well.
That is kind of weird.
It's kind of hard to tell because she's in a cloak, so I can't really see how the arm movement is. But it's not bad. It's not bad. I'll say that.
It doesn't look like she is about to have a heart attack like Tom Cruise.
She's not. Don't ever diss Tom Cruise.
No. I'm saying.
Do you know how much he's ran in his life?
That's what I'm saying. Is that whatever Tom Cruise is running, he goes full out. It's never like a jog or like, hey, I need to catch this. It's like
he doesn't have time.
Maybe
he's like, my legs are shorter than everybody else's. I got to get there first.
Michael, do you run like Tom Cruise when you're out on your jogs?
Oh, I'd love to, man.
Just like full blast.
There are times that like you hit like a straight and you're like a bit of a song comes on, you're like, oh yeah, and you just start taking off as fast as you can. That happens.
Oh yeah, I am Tom Cruise.
Lose Yourself by Eminem comes on.
This is for you, Tom.
Okay, so next it's time for Hera to chase. She gets chased in the Phantom. Yay. And good old Chopper's there.
Chopper!
Him and his little hands.
Little arms.
His little baby hands. Yeah, so they're chasing it. He's like, hey, did you move my stuff? She's like, no, I didn't move your stuff. It's probably just under the stuff. He's like, oh, it is under the stuff.
I like how he's just chunking all this stuff. He's like, I don't need that. I don't need that. Why did I have it?
And so he's looking for a tracker. He uses his mighty little baby hands to throw the tracker at the ship, and it takes off. And they're like, "Oh, okay, we got."
Can I just say, I love that they kept Chopper as a dick. Like, that's
what
like
else would he be?
Well, that's like one of the best parts of Rebels is that you have a droid who's just not a nice person. Like every opportunity he has, he's either going to make fun of you or just like try to embarrass you.
Well, even in this one, he's like, just shoot the ship down. And he's like, I can't just shoot it. Probably blow up a hyperdrive on the planet, but
and he's very violent, by the way. Like in the show, like he actively hurts people.
So the ship gets away. We get a lot of like shots we probably don't need. Sabine gets a haircut. It's a very dramatic haircut.
She lays all of her armor out one piece by one piece, and you're like, oh my god.
It's somehow more dramatic than Sakura cutting her hair off. It was like, geez, calm down.
I mean, that was in the middle of a fight.
Well, it's just her original haircut too. Like,
no, it's just and then someone like styles it for her in time she walks out. Straight across. And it's like,
Ahsoka's like, nice hair. Well, she calls Ahsoka and she's like, I'm ready. And they're like flirting or something. And she's
talk about flirting. Back in the shipyard, Hera's like, I'll use my general status, and she was just like, yeah.
Please do.
I do like that line. It's like, it's classified. I'm a general, unclassified. It doesn't work like that.
Does anyone remember the awful line Ahsoka says, though? There's one line where she says it's not like something because something. It's like one of those like backwards phrases. I'll have to watch again. I'll bring it next time.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. The
I don't remember.
I meant to write it down and I forgot.
You went all robot. I caught none of that.
Oh, dang.
It's like all I heard was like, you remember something.
You remember a bad line from Ahsoka?
Ahsoka gave a really bad line in episode 2, and I can't remember the right wording of it. I'll look it up for next time, but it was really bad. It was really bad.
Okay, so we get a lot of stuff, and then we get the end scene where we see the Eye of Sion, not the Eye of Sauron. So it turns out it's a giant hyper space ring, kind of like you see in episode, 2? Well, they use it in 3, I think, too. But what Obi-Wan uses to fly his little...
for the ships,
yeah. So it's just a giant version of this because they're going to...
pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool scene.
The concept of hyperspace rings is pretty cool. Like I do like that. But
it's like Sonic rings, but in space.
Yes, exactly.
So they're going to go intergalactic. But that's where the episode ends.
No, we'll get copyright struck. I can't hum that.
That wasn't a hum.
So, episode 2. Let's start with Michael first this time and tell us his thoughts.
Still good. I think the show's good so far. Like I'm not down on it, poo-pooing, but it's not like it's so back and forth still, even in this one. Like I said, with the dramaticism of her laying out her armor was just so much. And then she goes and picks up the helmet, and I'm like, why didn't you just start with this? And then she puts on, it's like, chill, lady. Well, first it just showed the helmet under the desk. I'm like, oh, that's all we need right there. And then she grabs the helmet and picks it up. Anyway, move on from that. Ahsoka looks weird in a hood. That was kind of weird when she stepped up on that balcony off the ship. The fights, I think the choreography in this is actually really good. There are the pointed moments where, he brings out his second lightsaber, which we've seen 1,000 times. I'm like, be a little more creative with your stuff like that. But
yeah,
I did apart from her stopping the lightsaber, it was cool how she was just like, whoop, like flies past her when he's recalling it. But yeah, I like the space stuff. It looks really cool. The what's Mary Elizabeth Winstead's name? Her character Hera. Okay, I liked her scene a lot. Her chasing that thing, the weird dog android. What's his name? Chuck. Chubby.
Chopper.
Chuck. This is my dog, Charles.
Uncle Chuck.
I like how they didn't, it wasn't too much of like ridiculousness. It was just a little fun little bit. We don't have Baby Yoda, which is what I was thinking during the scene. I'm like, now the main character chick is
she's Baby Yoda.
Teetering. She doesn't eat anyone's eggs, but we'll see. But yeah, I like this episode. I thought it was good. Good action, good fun. Wasn't too long. It was shorter than, it was like 10 minutes at least shorter than the first one. So they cut out a bit. Hopefully they'll just continue to streamline it and make them a little more, fun and not boring. Yeah.
Jared, thoughts on episode 2?
Not much. It was good. There's a good speech by a robot. He's like, stop being a brat.
Yeah.
And then there was all that sexual tension again from everyone. The whole time it's just like, man, someone just kissed someone. You get it over with. The bad guy was cool. Yeah, I'm with Michael. Like, we've seen a lot of lightsabers by now. It's not cool that the second blade comes out.
Or at least just change the camera angle. Like, put it behind instead of just this whole full frame. Like, make it like,
but
change the camera.
Don't stop the fight for it.
Yeah. Like,
have it
have her running at him, and you see her from behind with a camera, and it's like through like the little circular thing, and then the other lightsaber goes as she's running at him. Like, keep it in the action rather than this Dragon Ball Z standoff.
Or it would be really cool if they could like pop it out mid-fight.
That
like
would
he's
be very
like bam and then bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I say like the whole like stuff like that. I can't believe I made that sound.
Star Wars kid.
That hasn't been like super cool since 1999 when Darth Maul did it. Because like when he did it, oh my god! And we've just been like
the
replicating that.
Was like
yeah. Well, the thing is, like most of Star Wars has been trying to replicate that awesome moment ever since. It's like, guys, you got to come up with something else. Like the double bladed and the dual wield is not a big thing anymore. Like you gotta get the Swiss Army lightsaber now. So, come on.
Or Grievous just 4 arms. 2 are going. But yeah, this is a pretty good episode. Excited to see where it goes. Now that they're like, I want to be your apprentice. Okay. They got their differences aside. They're gonna give this another go.
Yeah,
See where it takes them.
Another sexual tension moment we forgot was when she's saying something. She's like, "Master," and it's like, "Whoa,
yeah."
Oh my.
But yeah, that's not. I don't have much on this one.
All right, Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an up and down episode for me, kind of like with Michael and Jared. I mean, it had some really good parts, and I like that this series actually isn't afraid of lightsaber fights, unlike a lot of modern Disney for some reason. Like, I don't know why, but I actually like that we've had 2 saber fights in 2 episodes, which is kind of cool. And so, but yeah, a lot of the dialogue wasn't really on point. Most of this
one thing Disney will never do is like getting crazy with force powers.
Yeah.
You get an occasional push or pull, but that's about it.
What are you talking? You have Leia flying around space and.
My favorite video edit of that is that shooting stars meme that was so popular for a while. Like, dude, and it's just her. It's the greatest thing. Anyway, but yeah, like I think like 35 to 40% of this could have been cut.
Yeah,
like dialogue wise, like a lot of it just wasn't necessary. The tenant robot speech was great. Go ahead, Joseph.
I think if you made these 2 episodes or the whole series 30 minutes long, it would be really good.
Yeah. It could have done with a lot of cuts, especially like what Michael's saying about the establishing shots for everything. So, but yeah, I mean, I still want to see the next episode. It's not like I'm dreading it, and it's not like I didn't enjoy the episode, unlike Mandalorian season 3, where we're just like, okay,
how bad can this get?
Will I be back next week? But yeah, I'm still hopeful. We still got a lot of promise in these characters, and so I'm pretty excited. And it's a continuation of what, like, I liked Rebels at the very end. I thought it was amazing. It's not as good as Clone Wars, but it still was its own thing, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm pretty excited to see where this goes.
Cool. All right. So for both episodes, let's go through some pros and cons. So pros, the villains.
David
Villains
Tennant.
look really cool. Pros, Tenet droid. The character Ahsoka is pretty cool. As a main
Hera's
character.
all right.
Hera's I like that actress, so she's all right. Chopper looks like Chopper, so that's cool. Pros, the fights are all pretty cool. There's not like terrible. I mean, it's Star Wars, so you can't expect the raid going on, but it's gonna look a little dancey at times. So
That'd be kind of awesome, actually.
can't avoid that.
The sets are really good too. Like apart from the costumes, the sets are really good.
The sets are really good. The E-wings I loved. The music was pretty good.
Dude, I forgot to mention that ending. I love the endings.
The ending's really good. Yeah. Okay, cons. The acting's not the greatest. It's probably the writing more than the acting.
Yeah, I think it is.
100%. All these actresses are pretty good. Sabine's not that great yet.
To be honest, like her Rebels arc or her Rebels character wasn't the greatest. It's like probably my least favorite out of all of them.
Out of the crew, yeah.
Yeah, which okay. Do you want to hear spoilers, Michael, for Rebels?
I don't
care. I'm a little sad that Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character cannot be played by him because he's the only one that looks like him in real life.
Who's his character?
So, he's Ezra's master and Hera's husband. They have a child.
Well, Hera has to get with Ahsoka. We've already established this.
Do they have a child? We have not seen that child.
Yeah.
Not live action yet.
That's true.
Okay, we're on cons, right?
Yeah.
The New Republic. The New Republic is stupid. It's been stupid.
Yeah, it really is.
Through the movies,
it's confusing.
It's been stupid through the Mandalorian, and they're still stupid in this show. So I hate the freaking New Republic.
Agreed.
They have all these Imperial guys just working in the shipyards for them. No one thinks that's a little weird. They have that captain who's pretty dumb, and it's like, hey, just let the Jedi on because the Jedi are still a thing. Yeah, so
which that makes he's like planning on capturing them or whatever. Anyway, I'm like, why'd you let them on board? Like
in your commander bridge area.
Yeah.
And you see that Lambada shuttle, that's always a bad catch.
That's true. Those 3 wings are like not good news for anybody.
Cons, I don't know. Filoni's directing's never been that great in live action. Even in animation, it's not that great. But any more cons or pros can you guys see? For pro, I like what they're setting up. I like all the stuff that could be coming.
Agreed.
Except for one rumor that I've heard that I don't like. I don't even know if it's a rumor. I think it's confirmed. So we're gonna have to see how that's used, but we'll talk about that later.
He doesn't even tell us the rumor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you the rumor.
Baby Yoda's baby is in it.
Should I tell you guys? I don't know.
I don't want to know.
He doesn't.
If it's confirmed, no.
Okay, I won't tell.
There's a con I have. Thomas's when he said con, his face didn't distort enough like Shatner.
Okay, theories. There's a lot of theories about that guy in the mask. Who do you guys think it is?
What have you seen online?
I've seen Starkiller.
Don't tempt me, sir.
I've seen Cal. And I've seen Ezra.
Why would it be
Those
Cal?
are the 3.
Ezra makes sense because, like, he's
Ezra
missing,
makes
he's
sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know how he got back to the galaxy, but
you give me freaking Sam Witwer in that mask, I will lose my absolute marbles, young man.
He is in the cast for this show.
Oh
what?
My God.
I don't know what he's doing in the cast, but
Can
we get Starkiller?
Dude, if this show ends with like a teaser for Force Awakens, I will lose my mind. That would be amazing.
Guess what? The whole series is a trailer for Force Awakens 3. It's coming to PS5.
It's like the end of the freaking what the heck was that show we watched that was terrible? The spy show.
Citadel.
Citadel. We watched this okay show, or that show wasn't even okay, but we watched that show and then we got a trailer for like something amazing or something better. That'd be sad.
He was British the whole time.
The Queen's English.
God, that show's so bad.
Theories. Who's the old race that they talk about that sent them to that other galaxy? There's 2 candidates.
Yeah. That's one of them. I thought that's what they've been like doing that for a while though.
The Rachni from Mass Effect?
Yes. Well, actually pretty similar, yeah. It's this old race from like 10,000 years ago that was really technology like super advanced and
they could like meld the Force and technology together, so they made the Star Forge.
Yeah, it's and things that go in and out of canon, whether what is canon or not, but they've always stayed there as like, hey, this is like basically the what do you call it? The Prometheans from Mass Effect. It's kind of like them.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much like that. Yeah.
Well,
And that,
it's written by the same guy, Drew Carpenter.
yeah,
so-
yeah. And then the other theory was the Yushan Vong are going to be involved in this.
Don't tease
Because
me.
you have Thrawn.
Right? Do not tease me.
The Vong are cool. And they might be in that other galaxy. It looks like a Vong galaxy.
Organic.
I thought about another con. Where the heck are some characters? Like we mentioned, Zeb's not anywhere to be seen. Rex. I think Rex was rumored for this series. I don't know where he is.
Not that Rex, Michael.
Not that Rex Michael. That'd be kind of cool, though.
And then Baby Kanan or Baby Hera, whatever he goes by. Baby Sabine.
He has a name. I just don't know it.
So we're missing some characters, but maybe they'll show up.
Baby Yoda, we're missing him.
Yeah.
I just like making
So
Michael mad.
this episode or this series so far has been exciting, mostly because of all the trash we've been going through with Star Wars lately. So it's fun to have something that at least looks fun.
That's our problem. We'll never get views now. We're having too much fun. We're not crying.
It's off to a promising start. I will say that. You guys agree?
I do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do.
All right. So, any last thoughts on episode 1 and episode 2 of Ahsoka? All right. So we will be back with more episodes in a while. I'm not sure how we're going to break it up. Probably by threes next time. So
Whatever
3,
releases.
4,
How many are there
7,
total?
8. There's 8.
Okay.
So we'll probably do the next in threes. But we will be back. So like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you. Bye.